Come, you masters of war, you that build the big guns, you that hide behind walls, you that hide behind desks. I just don't want you to know I can see through your masks.
Me and a bunch of my friends were sitting around one day, and I kind of like it came to me like the day before in like a dream, and then like I just like told them, and I was like, would you guys be willing to do a sit-in? And they all agreed.
My friend Matt Heffernan, he brought the idea to us, but then like we just like added to it.
We just wanted to show, you know, that peace is possible, and it's not like a dream. It's a reality.
My friend Matt told me about it maybe like about a week before it happened, but I didn't really like think much about it.
I didn't think that it was a good idea. If there's a couple people, usually high school students tend to chicken out of things, so I thought that the police would just come in and arrest everyone and nobody would be hurt.
I knew they would get mad. I knew that they weren't going to react to it well. Did I know they were going to expel him or try to expel me? No, I didn't know that. It was just, it was a good day. It was like any other morning. I woke up and went and met up my friends, and when third period rolled around, that's when things started happening.
I arrived to school that day a little bit late, and I saw them in the cafeteria, and I was like instructed by my dean to like just go straight to class and not fraternize with them.
Well, I was just nervous like how the school was going to react to us.
I went to class at third hour, and that's when it started. And we had a lockdown in the school.
Second period, like all the thoughts that were going through my head, like, oh my God, this is actually going to go down.
The plan was to meet at the beginning of third period and meet in the lunchroom.
You see all like, once you like going towards the cafeteria, like people are just like building up.
Me and my friends, we met there, and there was like about 6 or 7 of us, and we were all looking around. We were like, oh, I hope everyone comes, but we were going to do it regardless if a lot of people showed up or not.
As it like more people came, we just started to sit down.
We were about, I don't know, we had to be at least like 40 people just sitting around.
I thought, oh my God, they're all going to get arrested and beaten up by the cops, because that's what usually happens during these things.
Time went on, and then the deans came and they harassed us. They told us to move because people needed to get in line for their lunch. The superintendent said that if we moved, no disciplinary action would be taken against us.
I had joined after everyone else has moved.
There were some like smart students with higher GPA joining.
My counselor came in and she pulled me aside and told me that I was ruining my life, and that these people with low GPAs had no idea what they were doing, and that they wouldn't help me when I couldn't graduate high school.
220 rolled around and they started hanging out pink slips.
On the pink slip, on the detention, it said at the bottom that we were at risk of being written up for expulsion.
I got a 5-day suspension, and all the other students got a 10-day suspension and expulsion papers. Because my school doesn't really have so much money, they need to keep their top students, because the top students make the grade for the school.
38 students were suspended for an anti-war protest, and 18 of them faced expulsion.
In west suburban Berwyn, 24 students are about to pay a heavy price following an anti-war protest at a high school.
Parents and students have been anxious to hear what punishment the school district would hand down.
They were kind of like targeting us and like telling, like they'd bring out pictures of like and be like, who is this student, with like circles of like around my face.
He asked me, do you know who organized it? And I told him, I'm like, I think Matt did it, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. And you know what he did? He put words in my mouth and he said, oh, Matt did it.
I'm not going to judge anyone for anything.
Jesse Jackson came to our school after I got back to school.
He was a major part in our backup. I think that's the reason why we got back in school.
Parents helped out a lot. They really were the driving force in getting us back into school.
Getting up early.
It put Morton on the map, and also showed people that there's a lot more people against the war.
We showed everybody how like bad the war is.
It just proved to me that, you know, like if you stand up and you say something, like people will listen.
Shut down Guantanamo Bay!
We won't live in a torture state!
Shut down Guantanamo Bay!
We won't live in a torture state!
10 activists went in, and after delivering a citizen's indictment to the clerk of courts, they came down to the lobby and they started to read aloud that citizen's indictment. And within a matter of minutes, many of them were handcuffed and are currently detained across the street here. One individual here, Ron Durham, has refused to get up and walk. He's using the method of passive resistance, and he's been informed that he's going to be taken straight to the Chicago Police Department.
Why aren't the police arresting George Bush? The criminals are not in this truck. The criminals are in Washington. Why aren't the police protecting us from the torturers? Arrest the torturers! Stop torture!
I view the United States as the exemplar of human rights. So to actually witness these abuses is it's horrific. I represent 17 of the guys at Guantanamo. These are men who have been denied the protections of the Geneva Conventions. My clients at Guantanamo were kept in utter darkness, interrogated several times with a gun. Food and water were withheld from them, threatened with rape, chained to a wall, subjected to cavity searches, hidden from the International Committee of the Red Cross, rendition, interrogated under torture. The soles of his feet were beaten by bamboo poles, religious humiliations. We have an executive branch that in the name of concentrating power in the executive has condoned torture perpetrated by our soldiers and agents of our government.
I served an 11-month tour of duty in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
We stand against the war, we stand against torture, we stand against the sexism, racism, and dehumanization that the military institutionalizes. I went over there with this idea that I could help. And that we could help the Iraqi people. And I found out quickly that not only was my life dehumanized, but the military dehumanizes, the way it operates dehumanizes the Iraqi people, and they're not seen as people, they're seen as the enemy.
We want the actions of the government and this to be transparent.
This is what we fight for. This is why we're a great country. We can go into the courts and we can try to convince judges and convince the Supreme Court justices that the rule of law has to be upheld. And we haven't had a final ruling from the Supreme Court yet, but the Supreme Court will rule in our favor and will restore the rule of law. So it's been disappointing, but we're fighting the good fight and we'll win.
Shelves, stacks, and piles of books clutter the classroom of English teacher Brendan Lee, a man who has devoted his life to books.
Literature offers us answers. We can find in literature answers to our most important questions about why. Why do we exist?
However, these answers come at the price of investing time into reading, a price that many busy OPRF students won't pay, instead reading summaries of the novels on the internet study guide Sparknotes.
I usually just read the Sparknotes because the books are boring and long.
If I'm sort of skimping on my work, Sparknotes can be definitely a useful resource.
If it's a long book, you're not going to want to read the whole thing, especially in a short period of time. So Sparknotes is just easier.
For Lee and the English department, Sparknotes is a problem that needs to be stopped.
The AP college English teachers here at the high school, we create assessments, quizzes, tests, essay prompts, and the like that we design in a specific way that kind of circumvent the information on Sparknotes.
While many students use Sparknotes as a substitute for reading, others insist that Sparknotes is a positive supplement to the reading that is open to abuse.
The ability to abuse, the usefulness of Sparknotes is there, but I think overall it can help you, review, and it can help you, learn the reading better.
You shouldn't abuse it, but if you do really need help, it's a good place to go.
For others, it's not.
It's good to have secondary sources. It's good to have them there. But I think that you can't rely on it and you can't become dependent upon it We're also teaching you to fall in love with the world of literature and what that can offer. So if you're not open to that experience, you know, you're really selling the whole educational experience, your educational experience short.